this is gonna be troublesome. Guess I'll think on it a while. I take a walk. Let's take a walk. I'm sure nothing will immediately confront me on the way out or whatever. Hello. Well.
もしもし。
ああ、やっと出た。
ああ、花ちゃんか。
社長、さっきから何回電話してると思ってんですか？30回はしてますよ。ちゃんと電話に出てくださいよ。
ああ、悪い悪い。ねえ、何？
早く会社に戻ってきてください。取り立て行ってからもう何時間経ってると思ってんですか？
何時間くらいだろう。
4時間ですよ、4時間。
は
社長、今何時だと思ってます？ 12 時5分です。もう日付変わってんですよ。世の中は終電の時間なんですよ。知ってました？
あ、分かった分かった。悪かったって。
もう全然反省してない。
いや、本当に悪いって思ってるって。
社長は好きな時間に出社して好きなことばっかりしてるからいいですよ。でも私はですね、毎朝9時から会社来て帳簿の整理したりトイレ掃除したり返済滞ってるお客さんに電話したり出前の注文したりしてるんですから、もうクタクタなんですよ。
出前は関係ないじゃない。君が食いたくて取ってんだし。
とにかく私は超疲れてるんです。
分かってるって。だから今日も先に帰っていいって言ったでしょ。どうせ店の鍵は花ちゃんが持ってんだしさ。
帰れないから言ってるんです。
どうしてよ。
ついさっきから店の外で怖い人たちが喧嘩してるんですよ。
喧嘩？いや別に大丈夫でしょ、それくらい。
何言ってるんですか？私レイプとかされたらどうするんですか？
レイプ？君が？
笑いました今。
あ、いえいえ。
もう冗談じゃないんですよ。なんか一人は銃みたいなの持っちゃってるし、とにかくあんなのに巻き込まれたら大変ですよ。
銃？おい、花ちゃん、それどんなやつらだ？
ですね、なんか一人は上野がどうこうって叫んでましたけど。
上野？
ええ。とにかくこのままだと私外に出れないんです。早く会社に戻って何とかしてください。
分かった、すぐ行く。
4 hours? We have not gotten nearly as much done. Is there some time dilation going on where I played for an hour and 4 hours passed? I guess that part where he went drinking lasted a lot longer than we thought. So everything else kind of felt like it had a continuity of time. He must have spent 3 hours drinking with the homeless people. I was not ready for this Western song. At least that's my takeaway. Plus or minus a little. It's over so fast. Patoof. Oh yeah, these are still here? Coin lockers? Not yet though. I've got to find the source of all this Western shoot 'em up movie music. So where's this brawl? So his office is right where, in the same building that Serena was.
Arashi-san. Akiyama-san.
あんたがくれようとしていたチャンス、どうやら俺はもらい損ねたようだ。それじゃ
あれさん、
ああ、頭を一撃、余分な発砲は一切なし。こりゃあ殺す気満々で撃ってるね。逃げなくていいんですか？
え？
犯人はさっき走ってった男ですよね。このままだとあなたが警察に捕まることになると思うんですが。
あんた
仇の方ですよね、あなた。
ああ、そうだな。
警察ってのは嫌なやつが多いとこです。捕まったら無理やり自白させられてしまうかもしれませんよ。
花ちゃん、
あ、ちょっと手遅れでしたね。
お前か。動くな。動くな。
俺？
動くなと言ってるだろう。
いや、おい、違うって。いや、俺じゃないんだって。無駄な抵抗はやめろ。
杉内さんの尋問は半端ないと思いますんで、気合い入れて頑張ってください。それじゃ。
暴れるな、お前は。動くな。
杉内ってあの？おい、ちょっと待てよ、あんた。いや、だから違うんだって。さっきのとこに聞いてよ。ねえ、社長、花ちゃん。
They'll be fine. I'm trying to spot the main characters because it's kind of funny that there's like I think it's a JoJo's joke or something, but people like would talk about, they have this like joke about like, who's the main character in this scene? Because like you have like regular characters in anime, then like the like main characters will be like a completely different, over-designed, crazy character. And there's an element of that when you play like an MMO and stuff like that. And in Yakuza, there's like a particular brand of like attractive but also high detail, and they have like a particular outfit to them and so on that makes them stand out from everybody. And there's like a certain like face type that they tend to give like the main characters and so on. So I'm like, okay, obviously it's this guy that we're playing so far, but I figure we probably are like there's the Yakuza guy that has the red jacket. That's why I said, like, I think I briefly said something like main character syndrome or something, which technically means something else, and wasn't what I meant last episode. But I saw him and immediately was like, he seems like maybe even someone I play. And then this guy walked in with this inspecting the body, and it's like, look at me, it's my quirky intro and so on, and here's my particular visual aesthetic, as opposed to like all these cops that run in that look like a crowd, basically. I'm like, oh, okay, that guy. We're gonna see a lot of that guy. Might even play as him. You can just spot him on the fly.
起きろ起きろ。釈放だ。早く支度しろ。
よかったな、目撃者がいて。あの可愛い顔したお前さんの部下の子に感謝すんだな。
花ちゃんのことですか。
あの女すげえ必死だったぜ。雨の中ずぶ濡れになりながらここに来て「社長はやってません」ってな。
そうですか。
秋山、これ以上金村工業みたいなクズとは付き合うな。駆け込み寺だかなんだか知らねえが、てめえみてえに誰彼構わず金を貸すバカがいると、バカから金借りたバカが調子乗って暴れんだ。これ以上俺ら警察の邪魔しないでくれよな。
何が言いたいんですか。
お前がゲーム感覚で金を貸すと犯罪が増えるって言ってんだよ。
ゲーム感覚ですか。
そうだ。今回のドンパチもお前が絡んでたってことは割れてんだ。お前が遊び半分で金村連中を煽ってっからこんなことになっちまったんだよ。
杉内さん。
ああ、
俺はね、俺なりの信念があって金貸してるつもりなんですよ。だから金貸しはやめません。もういいですか。早く帰りたいんで。
金村が死んだよ。
いつ？
お前がぐっすり寝ている最中だ。いいか、これ以上金村工業と上野清和会の件には関わるな。てめえが金村の連中に近づいたらこっちも徹底的にお前のこと洗ってやるぞ。
Scout's honor. How's that for localization? Oh, Chief! I finally got a hold of you. They had the back of her head before as the picture. Was it supposed to be like a big reveal? Like, aha, she's fat. Was that the joke? They're like, delicate flower, you? It's like, alright. Rude. I'm so glad you're out. I thought you'd be in the slammer for weeks, months, maybe even years. Anna-chan. You know I was only there for questioning, right? They didn't actually arrest me. I think it's called arresting when they arrest you, which they did. Whatever it was, I'm so relieved that you said they didn't charge you. All that running I did down to the station paid off. Yeah. You really came through for me, Hana-chan. I appreciate it. Hee. By the way, Chief, while you've been lounging around in jail, work's been piling up like there's no tomorrow. Get back to the office now. Hana-chan, please. I barely slept a wink last night. I'm seriously wiped out here. And whose fault is that, All of that nonsense yesterday could have been avoided if you just did your job. Don't let me down this time, Chief. We have tons of work to do. Anna-chan? Hello? She hung up on me. Might as well head back to Sky Finance. Do I have to, though? Or is it an option this time? It appears to be an option. There aren't a bunch of... Oh yeah, there's taxis on the map now. What are those up and down arrows? Are they staircases? There's a down arrow here. I can go down here! I've waited so long! I've literally played games they made after this one, and you can't come down here. You can go in the subway station. Does that mean I'm gonna take a subway in this game? That would be why, right? Are we gonna have other maps then? I did like having Kamurocho and Sotenbori in Yakuza 1, Yakuza 0 and 2? Was it Kiwami 2? I think. There's a whole area that's down here. Everything on there? I thought I saw shiny. Wow. I've never been down here before. They take this away in other games. At least in 0, which takes place beforehand, but they made afterwards, and the staircases were still there. And Judgment, right? Shape Memory Spring. What? Did you just say to me? Yeah, like you couldn't come down here in Judgment either. And that game was really long. Hopefully in Judgment 2, if they're gonna make such long games, they at least give us like a second map or something. Because having that long of a game be exclusively set in Kamurocho was a bit much. It was kind of artificially long though. They had all the stupid reputation system where you had to level up your reputation with the city by doing a bunch of really annoying things that I would have potentially skipped on otherwise to unlock the actually good story missions at the end of the game. At the end of the side content.
Oh ho, you there. Interested in knowing more about the Kamurocho Underground? Well, most normal people know about the parking lots and the underground malls. That's just common knowledge here in Kamurocho. But they're just amateurs, Little League players at best. The Little League players know the whole deal, from the sewers to the underground railway. Heck, there are tons of places we still haven't discovered.
I'd be surprised how deep the underground goes. So they expanded Kamurocho in this game, but then they unexpanded it in other games. Whoops. So there's a lot of those waiting around. And I guess I had the key to a locker underground instead of above ground. Still, I think part of the remastered trilogy, though, is that they added side quests to the map. So I don't think I have side quests yet, then, to do. I think they added them all to the map now, because they were in the map in 3, and I've heard mention of it elsewhere, too. All we have is S, which stands for save, not sub-story or anything. Did I level up again? No, not yet. There's even a sub-stories menu. How many do we have this time? Oh. They're not numbered, and I can't scroll. So we're not going to know yet that way. Alright, let's head back then.
Hey buddy, you think you can get away with what you've done? You know what I'm talking about. Don't fucking play dumb with me, pal. It's payback time, and this is gonna hurt.
Oh right, the dialogue random encounters are back. Hello, friend. Oh my god. Deleted. Thank you for your experience. Oh, more of you. Oh! That guy's big. My heat meter! I can't do anything without my heat meter. Big guy. Oh, my thing's broken. My thing's broken. I'm not grabbing you again, I learned. Where's like a thing? There we go. Oh, it broke already. Dang it. Everything's really not durable. Big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. Enough for you. There you go.
Ugh. Sorry, I thought you were someone else. Just forget that ever happened. Here, for your trouble, this is yours.
You got a saucy 3000. I leveled up. Again. Yeah, we talked about that guy having a future in the organization. Maybe we were hoping he'd be the... Maybe... It came out of me a little fast, but it sounded like our character was planning on the leader of that sub-family leaving and being ousted as a terms of their loan. And that seems to be what he does to leverage the situation around here. And they seem to have that guy that took a bullet in mind as the new chairman, or whatever you want to call it, of that particular family. But then that didn't go so hot. Because he went and shot that guy. He did say there'd be consequences if he shot him, and then he did shoot him, so he came back and shot him to death. I don't know if that was the plan, though. I mean, they were apparently fighting outside that office for a while, which you would think would be hard to do for all that long if you're just going to shoot a dude. So it might have been an outcome that he didn't plan for. But then he ran. Could be just because the police and whatnot would be coming. But I wonder if, to some extent, if he was running because he couldn't get caught there. Maybe even was hoping to distance the family from what had happened, but it's hard to get away from the fact that a Yakuza member just died on another Yakuza turf. So they'd be implied to be connected there. But yeah. It seemed pretty clear that was a really bad idea to do that. Oh, they skipped the staircase part.
もう油固まっちゃってるよ。ライター、ライター。あれ？
すみません。
あ、すみません。お客さんですか。どうぞどうぞ。はい。
スカイファイナンスってこちらでよろしいんでしょうか。
ええ。ああ、ここちょっと分かりにくい場所ですもんね。どうぞどうぞおかけください。
はい。はい。
ご融資のご相談でしょうか。
ええ、まあ。
はい。
タバコ吸ってもいいでしょうか。
ああ、はいはい。どうぞどうぞ。すいませんね。接客はいつもジムの女の子に任せっきりなもんで、こういう時気が利きませんで。 どうぞ。
すみません。はい。
それでご融資の件ですが。
はい。それなんですが、
ええ。
こちら保証人や担保なしで無制限にお金を貸してもらえるというのは本当でしょうか？
無制限ですか。どちらでそのような話を？言えないと。まあいいでしょう。多分あなたへの融資を断った同業他社の方にでも聞いたんでしょうから。うちの店は金貸せないけどあの店なら貸してくれるかもよって。どうせ他にもいろいろ吹き込まれたんでしょう。うちの店は同業の人たちにはあんまり評判良くないでしょうからね。で、おいくらほど必要なんですか？ライターお借りしてもいいですか？
ええ、どうぞ。
大女優。まあいや、カムロ町にしては変わった名前のお店だなと思いまして。今あなたが働いてるお店のライター？
いや、そうではないんですけど、以前そのお店にお世話になっていたことがありまして。
そっちの業界長いんですか？
ええ、まあそれなりに。
で、いくら必要なんですか？とりあえずいくら貸してほしいのか言ってくれなくちゃこっちも話のしようがないんで。
1億。現金で1億円。10日以内に私に融資していただけませんでしょうか
？1億ですか。
はい。
保証人はい
ません。
担保も
ありません。
保証人なし、担保なし、それで現金一括で1億円ね。あんたさ、自分の言ってることの意味分かってんの？
やっぱり無理ですよね、そんな話。そうですよね。すみません、私どうかしてました。この話忘れてください。お時間取らせてしまってすみませんでした。それじゃあ。
ちょっと待った。貸さないとは言ってませんよ。まあゆっくりお茶でも飲みながらお話ししませんか
？That's a lot. I imagine he's gonna ask why. You might see his test in progress and the what kind of motivates him to do this kind of thing. There's a few things I kind of forgot to comment on just because cutscenes are pretty long, and I have like a queue up a few things I want to mention. When we saw the Millennium Tower explode, I briefly thought, here we go again. It's another attack on the Millennium Tower, because at this point, like, I wouldn't be surprised, right? Like, so many things happen with the Millennium Tower, or endings happen there, or attacks and so on, that, like, at this point I'm just ready for, like, the inciting incident of a game to just be, oh wow, something about the Millennium Tower, let's go. So, I thought that was going to be I thought that was a current scene at first, but then it's revealed that, it's actually a flashback. He was the homeless guy sleeping on the street in that scene, and I guess he must have got enough money from that, I suppose, just grabbing it out of the air, that he must have been able to get this whole process started. I doubt you could just pick up like hundreds of millions of yen like that just on a whim when there's crowds of other people trying to get it too or anything, but it must have been something to change his situation a bit. So seeing the ripple effects here and see that the events of previous games have directly contributed to characters here and who they are and how they got here is pretty interesting. I'm also I'm noticing once again that we are being introduced to like a sympathetic Yakuza tribe and an antagonistic one immediately, which is usually par for the course, kind of like when Yakuza 3 when we got to Okinawa. And in that situation we were kind of introduced to like this plucky underdog Yakuza group in Okinawa, and they usually try to characterize them in certain ways like that. And we kind of already got a hint here. Like there was the element of like, "Heh, stick with it, you'll do well, kid," sort of response that our character gave to the guy that's only been in the Yakuza for 3 months. So it's sort of like a humanizing element of that back and forth and so on. But something that stood out to me as somebody who worked in an upholstery shop for years is the fact that their fucking couches were gouged up and they had used tape to repair the couches, which is just such a fucking like restaurant booth ass solution to a problem, which, I mean, I've worked on restaurant booths too. Just like that, it's like, okay, well, just cover it in duct tape or electric tape or whatever you can use to just seal it closed. Sometimes there's types of like glue and so on you can do to reseal them, because you get these gouges in your booths and you got to cover them. And yeah, and I noticed that both of their couches had tape covering the holes in them, and it's just like a cute little detail of them sort of establishing this is like a probably not particularly well funded or well manned group, which is probably why they need a loan in the first place, which is why they've got why my fingers are in the soup here and all that, and why everyone's putting up with me because they need the money. And that poor leader is just sitting there like, what a headache. And that leader, I imagine, is dead now, right? Like, it's a lot of names coming quickly, and I have trouble with the names sometimes in Yakuza because names can be a struggle in anything with a lot of characters. But in this world, we're dealing with the ones that I'm not super used to, so they're hard for me to memorize sometimes. But I believe the implication of that scene was that the leader of that Yakuza family is now dead. All set for the next person to take over, I suppose, which I guess at this point will probably be the guy in the red jacket that we were introduced to that, you know, gave me main character vibes in the first place, because the more promising figure seems to have run off, potentially to try to avoid a war because he killed a Yakuza member, but I guess that didn't work out because their leader is now dead, so this is a mess. Anyway, back to the current day. Now here's the deal. We require each of our clients to pass a test before we finance their loans. A test? That's right. A test to gauge whether or not we can trust you. Trust me? Yep. We test all our customers before agreeing to loan them anything. We had one person care for the elderly for a week, and another pick up all the litter in Kamurocho. We even had one woman work in the red light district. What's up with that last one, sir? The first one's like, oh yeah, how about the community and so on, and this one is like, Wait, you made someone work in the red light district? These tests get more difficult depending on the loan amount and terms. In your case, well, the test will be hard. You got it. But if you pass, I promise to loan you the amount you want under the terms you specified. Must be a test to prove that they need it that badly?
以上が当店からの条件です。テストに合格しなければ融資することはできません。さっき10日以内って言ってたけど、つまりあなたすぐにお金が必要なんだよね。
はい。
急いでるんだよね。
はい、そうです。
でもテストに受からなかったら時間の無駄遣いになっちゃうわけなんだけど、どうします？それでもテストの方受けてみますか？
はい、やらせてください。
本当にいいんですね。
私にはもう他の選択肢はないんです。お願いします。そのテスト受けさせてください。
The back and forth between voiced and unvoiced so rapidly. Be less distracting if it was just the switch between like a rendered animated cutscene and like a jabbermouth cutscene, but they were still both voiced at least. But it going between voiced and not voiced is like, all right, well, I guess they're spending their budget wisely or something. His homeless flashback definitely recontextualizes previous scenes. We keep trying to get reads on what certain things mean, and so when we see him hanging out with the homeless people, it's like, oh, is he empathetic and gregarious? And he's friendly and so on. Like, what's going on here? And he's willing to like put out expenses for other people and so on. But then it's like, oh, okay, he's not just hanging out with the homeless people like on a whim or whatever. It's like those are his friends. They have history. Like, he used to live there, and those are the people he knows essentially. That also means that all of the money he has right now is him being new at having money, which might be a bit why he dresses like a Yakuza a little bit. The kind of like money from trash situation where somebody gets money that they're not used to having, and so they kind of like insist on showing it and kind of peacocking and so on. But still not nearly as severe as other characters we've seen even in these games. Like, he's relatively... He's almost understated. I don't know. He's got a giant, ridiculous watch and other stuff going on. But we've seen people that just roll in it. All right. Mind if I take this? She said she called 30 times earlier, right? Like, how did she call 30 times when my phone wasn't seemingly on silent? And I... What? Go right ahead. Sky Finance. Oh, is this Akiyama-san? Kido-chan, where are you? Is everything okay? I'm down at the Kamurocho precinct. They just finished grilling me about Kanemura-san. Kanemura? What are they doing questioning you? I'm the one who found him. Walked back into the office and there he was. Dead. Sorry you had to see that. But hey, it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing on my end either. Speaking of, I take it you've heard about Arai-san by now. Yeah, some detective named Suichi told me. I still can't wrap my head around it. Me neither. Listen, we shouldn't talk about this stuff over the phone. You free to meet up later? Was Kanemura dead already? Was that was the execution against the vending machine downstairs, was that a reciprocation for Kanemura's death? What's the timeline here? Yeah, I've got some questions I want to ask you too. Sure thing. Think you can call me back in a few though? I'm just finishing up with a customer. Oh, yeah, no problem. Talk to you soon. Sorry about that. Seems another one of my customers is in a bit of a pinch. It's fine. So, back to business. 10 days, 100 million yen. That's right. Understood. In that case, can I ask you to swing by again tomorrow? I'm gonna need a little time to mull that test over. Okay. Come prepared, though. We'll be starting right when you get here. I will. I want to see his test.
Go 来店お待ちしてます。お名前聞いてもよろしいですか？
リリーと言います。
リリさんですか？それは本名？それともお店の名前？
言わないとダメですか？
いえ、いいです。明日のご来店お待ちしてます。
When you get to it, oh, that's just playing again, the clubs. When you get to it, this is kind of a bold opening for a game, right? Like, you're running the risk here that people are just going to spend this entire part just being like, where's Kiryu, where's Kiryu, where's Kiryu, and being really frustrated the longer you string them along without having Kiryu in the game. Whereas, you know, the optimistic outcome is that when Kiryu shows up, people will be like, oh shit, right, he's the protagonist of this franchise. I was just enthralled in what was happening and kind of forgot. And honestly, I'm kind of in the latter camp. Like, I already have enough setup here that I'm like, I just buy that. I'm like, okay, here's the protagonist of this game, like in Judgment. Like, we just have a new protagonist, and we're just gonna do this story, and like, I actually don't need Kiryu to show up. Like, I would be fine, honestly. In fact, it'd be kind of nice if he could just retire to Okinawa and they could just stop inflicting more pain on him. give the poor guy a break after so many noir adventure detective messes and so on, full of violence and him getting stabbed and shot all the time. Let it be this guy's problem this time around or something. We'll see. Hey, it's Akiyama. Sorry to spring this on you last minute, but I'm bringing a new girl into the club. She starts tomorrow. In the club? Is your test is to do what she already did, which was work at a hostess club, it seems? Seems like a pretty gendered test, too, right? Like, dudes can pick up trash, but the women have to work in the red light district? Like, that's their way that they prove themselves? Nothing else that can show their conviction or whatever? Provided she actually shows up, that is. Rearrange the shifts, shuffle things around. I don't care how you do it, just make it work. Look, I know how to run my business. Besides, I already made up my mind. Don't let me down. Later. The ball's in her court now. Oh, Chief! You actually decided to show up today. Good to see you too, Hana-chan. And the two are finally face to face again. What is that thing? What is that thing? Is it a workout device of some kind? It just looks like a bicycle seat, but too big. But it weirdly looks like it moves because there's stuff all around it. Like, this looks like mechanisms. It's got like the bracings around it that a workout device would have. Maybe I'll walk around town while I wait for Kido-chan to call me back. Alright, so we got a hideout now. Pretty much just save here. Change your outfits, if that's a feature you have access to. Although you often can't until after the game's over because there's pre-rendered cutscenes in many cases. Be a bit of a problem. I usually don't really feel any need to change the costume. It's like that's what the character looks like. I buy it. What does that mean? Oh right, no, they called it out in an earlier cutscene. I don't remember. Can I talk to you? Oh. Oop. Oh, this is my back room. Alright, I was gonna say it's our first time being face to face finally after all these phone calls and drama and whatnot. But then we don't talk. Yeah, we're really high up. We saw the angle that her window was at, so that's a long trip up and down the staircase that they just decided to skip. Because one of the lower floors would be Serena. Hello. Akiyama-san, it's me. Is now a good time? Yep, we're all in the clear. What's up? There's something I gotta talk to you about. You mind if we meet up in a few? Not at all. Where at? How about that building in Theater Square? You know, the red one down the alley. We'll have some privacy there. Anyway, it's the one right across from the movie theater. I'll be waiting up on the roof. Roof on the red building. Got it. Perfect. See you there. Sounds like I should head over to Theater Square. Yep, that is, I guess it's a helpful recap of the only thing that was said. Oh my god! He's gonna be waiting for a while, because we just got populated. Let's go to the children's... No. No, the park... How out of practice am I? Where is the... Oh, the park's one block over. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the park's not over here. It's one more block to the side. It's side quest time. Akiyama speaking. Oh, Chief. I'm so glad I caught you. Why? What's up? There's a customer who wants to see you. It seems kind of important. Can you come back to the office? Yeah, hang tight. I'll be there as soon as I can. I was gone for like a second. How'd they get in? And that's... Oh. Weird. The quest that's quote-unquote here is actually just a trigger for getting a call to come right back to the office. I guess they just had to put it somewhere. Oop. Freeze frame. This is the top floor of the whole building. Oh, Chief! You have a customer waiting. The one you told me about on the phone? Got it, thanks. Apologies for the wait. So, tell me, what brings you here today? Are you Akiyama-san? You provide interest-free loans here, is that right? Indeed I do. That said, there are a few conditions. May I ask your name? It's Shiobara. How much are you willing to lend out, usually? Mind telling me why you need the money first? That'll help me decide whether or not I should give you the loan. You never... That's one of the things that stood out to me, is you never asked her why she wanted a loan. Which was the only question I had, really. Well, not too long ago, I drove my printing company into bankruptcy. I'd inherited the place from my father, you see. But this time, I figured I'll start my own company from the ground up. Doing this kind of voice just reminded me that Komaki showed up for 1 second and vanished, and we haven't seen him since. You ran your father's company into the ground? It made money, but not enough to get out of the red. So in the end, all I could do was downsize. But downsizing isn't always the best option, you know? The company was already on its way under. If our only available option was downsizing, wouldn't it have been better to just pull the plug? I think it's cowardly to fire people just to try and keep a company artificially afloat. So I took responsibility for my bad management and let the place go bankrupt. No hard feelings all around, right? I see. Spoken like a typical spoiled heir. The old company doesn't matter now anyway. What's important is getting this new company off the ground, so, will you lend me some money? I'm not against the idea, but why come to me? Can't you get your bank to cover it? I guess I didn't pass their review. They asked me what business the company would be in, but I hadn't decided yet. Something online, that's for sure. Still haven't figured it out, huh? What, you need planning documents too? Don't you loan sharks usually skip all that formality crap? No, it's just... Never mind. How much do you need? Let's see. About 5 million? Why so much? But now that I think about it, you probably have no idea how much you really need. What the hell. I'll lend you the 5 mil. No interest, no collateral. Seriously, you're not pulling my leg here. But first, you're going to have to pass my test. Sure, bring it on. I don't know what kind of test you're talking about, but I'll do anything you ask. Alright. So you want to start a company, be its president. In that case, I'll need you to... Find 3 business partners, bring me 10 president's business cards, invite a hostess here after the club closes. Bring me 10 president's business cards. Bring me the business cards of 10 company presidents. Any kind of company will do. 10 business cards? Is that really all you need? Corporate CEOs, presidents of small factories, take your pick. Just find 10 of them, get their cards, and bring them here. Are you sure? That sounds pretty easy. I mean, I used to be a president myself. I can get 20 or even 30 cards, no problem. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Well, good luck. I'll see you soon. I'll be right back, okay? Better get that 5 million ready for me. Chief, I couldn't help but overhear. Are you really going to lend money to that piece of work? He's nowhere near fit to start a company. You think so too, huh? To tell you the truth, I agree. He's all talk. You see a lot of that nowadays. So you never plan on giving him a loan in the first place? Then why bother with the test? Oh, I'll lend him the money. But only if he passes. I'm going to teach him it's a rough world out there. But what if, I mean, just on the off chance? Don't worry about it. A big mouth like him could never hope to pass one of my tests. If I were you, Hana-chan... if it were you, Hana-chan, would you go about collecting 10 president's cards? Well, I'd probably pop into an office building and talk to the company presidents directly. A frontal attack, huh? Good answer. As for me, I'd probably grab a hold of a president or two, take them to a print shop, and have them make me some cards. A little aggressive, maybe, but yeah, that sounds like something you do. Nothing wrong with that. Hell, I could even have a print shop make up a bunch of fake cards if I wanted. Your straightforward method requires courage, while my way calls for quick wit. Regardless, I doubt he's capable of either. I mean, I don't love your quick wit answer, because this is set in 2010. I know you have a fucking flip phone that doesn't really match that the way you'd expect, but we got a little disclaimer at the beginning. It's like, oh, the views and laws in this are based on 2010, to remind people that it's a 10-year-old game. The internet exists. I know, I was there. So, like, if you brought in a bunch of fake cards, you could be like, and I'm Googling this, and it seems you made up a business. That's not what the test was, sir. You have failed. Regardless, I doubt he's capable of either. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. That didn't go well. Welcome back. So, you got those cards. When is this? A week later? 2 days later? An hour later?
Yeah.
Wow. I only have one. My father's. None of the CEOs I knew at my company are even in this town. Are there any company presidents here? It's all businessmen and restaurateurs. Actually, you're looking at one. Sorry if my appearance deceived you. Well then, since you weren't able to pass the test, I'm afraid I won't be giving you the loan after all. Hana-chan, would you mind showing Shiobara-san here out? It's time for him to go.
Hi.
Of course. Right this way, sir. Wait just a second. This test was set up all wrong. I can do better, I promise. I didn't even give you a time limit, so why'd you come back without the cards? Dude. Please, I'm counting on you. Just give me one more chance. One, please. We also haven't been told that you tried any other loan person. Instead of me with my weird tests and bullshit, you could just get a normal loan from a normal loan shark, admittedly with interest, but that's the assumption you would have presumably went in with? Oh, alright, but only one more. Now then. Find 3 business partners. The hostess thing seems so irrelevant. Maybe he'd contextualize it somehow, but I don't know. That depends on what direction they're going with, basically. Sometimes Yakuza quests are just branching stories that could go anywhere, and sometimes they're pass-fail, and you actually have to make the right choices, or succeed at a minigame, or you can permanently fail it, and you have to load an old save in order to unfail it, or something. Find 3 people to be your business partners, and bring them to me. Business partners? 3 of them? Is that really all you need? You said that last time. Yeah. People who'd be happy to help build up a company. What do you think? Can you do it? What are you talking about? I've got tons of friends. It won't take long at all. I'll be right back, okay? Better get that 5 million ready for me. Chief, why are you giving him a second chance? You'd usually send someone like him on his way by now. He's just so astoundingly clueless. Don't you want to see how it all ends? Not particularly. Look at it from my perspective. You always forget to collect on your loans. Too many boneheaded customers like him, and I'll be up to my neck in extra work. And I appreciate every last ounce of work you do, Hana-chan. Don't I always treat you with a delicious meal at the end of every month? Month? I guess I can do what you want. It is your company, after all. You know, Hana-chan, a man might have lots of people he calls friends, but I doubt many of them would actually be willing to risk their livelihoods on him. He says it'll be a cinch to find 3 of them, but unless he's especially trustworthy or charismatic, they won't be on board. Welcome back. So, where are those 3 partners? They just don't understand. I told them they could easily pull in 100 million a year if they just left everything to me. Ah, so you failed the test.
Yeah.
It's not my fault, it's theirs. They're just too blind to see it. And after all those times, they begged for an invite to my parties, too. Parties? My online game parties.
You mean you haven't heard? They're kind of a big deal. They called me Hurricane Salt. Andrew? I see. Well, it hardly matters at this point. You weren't able to pass the test, which means our loan discussion is over. My apologies. Ana-chan, would you mind showing Shiobara-san here out? It's time for him to go. Of course. Right this way, sir. Wait just a second. You're telling me you know all about me from one lousy test? Two lousy tests, sir. Who do you think you are, a god? That's not really the level of scrutiny that we imply here, sir. Please, I'm counting on you. Just give me one more chance. One more. Please, I'm begging you. Let me try again. I swear I'll take it a whole lot more seriously this time. Why didn't you take the first two seriously? What the fuck? You had a chance for an interest-free loan. What is wrong with you? We have other business to attend to, you know. But it doesn't look like you'll be leaving anytime soon, so... Alright, one more time. I want you to take 2 grains of rice and put it on this square of a chessboard. On the next square of the chessboard, I want you to put 4... then 8, continuing to double until you reach the final square of the chessboard. When you succeed at this, I'll give you 5 million yen. Jesus Christ. That's just burned into the back of my brain from when I was like browsing a Scholastic book fair as like a 7-year-old or some shit. Just comes out now, huh? And alright, let's do this one, I guess. Invite a hostess out after the club closes and bring her back here to my office. A hostess club, that's it? I just bring the girl here, and the 5 million's mine? I don't know. Oh, come on. It should be a piece of cake for a guy like you. What's the problem? I just don't have the cash. Hostess clubs are expensive, you know? It's a real shame. I'd have all kinds of girls trailing after me if I just had the money. I'd be like the Pied Piper of Kamurocho. Yep, that's the only way women work. You figured it out. I guess I'll have to point you over to my friend's hostess club then. You can put it on my tab. The place is called Sweet, over on Pink Street. Just tell them Akiyama sent you, and they'll take care of the rest. Really? You can't do it without money, right? Well, I'm making that particular problem go away. So what do you think? Can you do that? Yes, of course. No problem at all. I'll bring you the best hostess in the club. I'll be right back, okay? Not you won't be that right back. You have to wait for them to close. And aren't they a nighttime it's gonna be a while. But although I don't know how much time's passing because it feels like he just stood here this whole I feel like my character hasn't moved this whole time somehow. Better get that 5 million ready for me. Chief, enough's enough. I've never seen you give anybody this many chances. Neither have I, but it's literally the first subquest in the entire game, so... I suppose you're right. But it's all just so interesting, don't you think? Guy's a walking disaster. Chief, why'd you send him to a hostess club? He'll just go out and have fun. And on your tab, no less. A first-time visitor to a hostess club hardly ever manages to invite a girl out afterward. Anybody who succeeds is either rich or a smooth talker. But this guy's broke, so he has about a 0% chance of pulling this off. We don't know that. I mean, he might fall into some crazy beginner's luck. That would be a miracle. Well, if he pulls off a miracle at a time like this, it'll be the first of many. Luck is just another kind of talent, wouldn't you agree? Maybe, but even so, if that guy gets his very own miracle, then he's one of the most talented men I've ever met. That's not a happy face. Welcome back. So, where's that hostess? Oh, that club's no good. The girl at the table only said a few words, then clammed up almost immediately. Isn't it her job to get the conversation going? I'm the customer. The paying customer.
Yeah, paying with somebody else's money.
Seriously though, any other club and I would have had him eating out of the palm of my hand. It all boils down to a bad club.
Even if we were to assume it was the club's fault, you still didn't manage to pass the test. That means I won't be giving you a loan. Ana-chan, would you mind showing Shiobara-san out? It's time for him to go.
Of course. Right this way, sir. Wait just a second. If you let me try a different test, I'm positive I'd pass with flying colors.
You've failed 3 times. What, are we gonna fight now? Is that what always happens?
Please, I'm counting on you. Give me just one more chance. One more.
You keep saying just one more. You keep saying that thing. I don't think you know what it means. It's always just one more with you. I've given you 3 chances already. No matter how many times you try, you'll never pass. Alright, so leave. I'm tired of having to string along a big talking nitwit.
Please, this is it. My very last chance. If you give up on me now, I'm finished.
Will you just leave already?
I'm positive I can build a company that will never, ever need to downsize.
You really want to start your own company, don't you? Are you sure you're being entirely honest with me? And with yourself?
Absolutely. No lies and no excuses, period.
You keep making excuses for this test. Fine. Then this is your honest-to-goodness last chance. You fail, you leave. Got it?
Got it. I'll pass it for sure this time. You'll see.
Okay, here we go. My friend's Leaflet company is in the red. If you can get it to turn a profit again, I'll lend you 5 million yen.
But that could take years.
The door's right there if you're not interested. What's it going to be? You in or out?
Alright. Where is this Leaflet company anyway?
It's Paradise Advertising on West Shichifuku Street. Just past the M store. Let me give them a call. Hello? Paradise Advertising? This is Akiyama over at Sky Finance.
Akiyama-san, to what do I owe the pleasure?
You'd been asking for a management advice, right? I found just the man for the job. Named Shiobara-kun. I'll be sending him your way shortly.
Really? Shiobara-san, is it? Thank you so much. I'll be waiting.
If you blow this, I'm going to punch you directly in the face. Now it's all up to you. Paradise Advertising is on West Shichifuku Street. I'm sure you'll see it when you get there.
Alright, I'll be back.
Chief, are you sure about this? That's one heck of a test. Isn't Paradise Advertising doing really bad right now? Business-wise? Stuck in the red even though sales remain strong and steady? Yep, that's right. Even if sales go through the roof, the expenses are always higher. Which means their only choice is to downsize and cut their... Yep. All they can do is downsize, and our friend Shiobara-kun would rather see a company die than shrink. We'll now be forced to do just that.
You're a bad man, Chief.
Call it shock therapy. If he can't do this, he's hopeless.
Shock therapy? Don't you think you could go check up on him just in case? You never know.
Well, if you insist.
Do you remember where Paradise Advertising is? The west end of Shichifuku Street.
We just said it twice. It's okay. Just past the M store, right? Yeah, you just said that out loud twice. I'll be fine. I've been there plenty of times. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Hold down the fort till I get back. Well, enjoy the cliffhanger. Next episode we'll find out what happened, assuming I can follow up now.